These are my confessions. There's an Usher song about that. It feels like I'm walking into confessional. Now every day when I come in here, I'm going into confession. So, Father, forgive me for I have sinned. Actually, I'll forgive myself because I have the power and authority to do that. Thank you very much. Okay, so day 9. Let us see what day 9 has for us. Break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm busy doing and what a lot of people are doing, what the whole planet is doing. We're breaking the chains of our own enslavement. I mean, it's not just on a systematic level. We're not just slaves and enchained to a system of money. That money, you know, has the power and control over us and tells us who to be and what to do and how to live. Dictates everything of our lives. We do it on our individual levels. We do it on the individual level. We have enslaved ourselves to our programming, which is our family and our culture and our society. It's the beliefs that we hold to be true that we were told to believe in. I'll give you an example. I quit smoking about 2.5 years ago. And part of the reason that I quit was because I wanted to be the one to end the cycle with me. I didn't want to pass that habit on to my children, which, you know, my mother and father smoked, my grandparents smoked, my great-grandparents smoked. Like, I don't know how far it's gone back, but addiction is rampant in our world because for me, I was using it as a point of suppression. I was using it as a point of like denying myself, of dealing with myself, of coping with myself. And, you know, I've been hard on myself in the past, and I realize now that the smoking was my way of surviving. It was my way of knowing how to deal with my experiences, which I didn't know how else to experience what I was experiencing. It's how I dealt with the pain and the trauma of growing up in a world where innocence and expression and creativity is disregarded, is dismissed, is squashed, is squandered, is actually diminished purposefully to keep people enslaved to a system. Like, it's very specifically by design, you know, what this world is. And so being a child coming into this world in pure innocence and having that, born with that freedom to express and that knowing of who I am and what I want to be in terms of just living in the moment. Look at a child. The child comes with no baggage. The child is explorative and creative and imaginative and like wants to just have fun and discover, and everything is amazing because it is amazing and they see it. And if we didn't come in and mess up that viewpoint for them by saying the world is harsh and hard and you have to fight for your survival and you can't bother yourself with all this other nonsense, there's no place for it in this world, then what would that child grow up to look like? Anyways, because we suppress children and we suppress our creativity and we suppress our innocence and we suppress our right to life through an economic system, we have to learn how to cope with that experience of suppressing who we really are. It's on a collective level and it's on an individual level. So I have been busy unraveling the constraints and chains that I've held on myself over the years. And when I finally quit smoking as a point of that was what I was using to kind of keep myself locked up. Once I quit smoking, the chains kind of started to fade away more and more because I was able to see what I was suppressing and what was underneath all of my experience. What was my anxiety? Why did I have this constant anxiety running within me? First of all, I didn't know that I had anxiety until I quit smoking. And then once I quit smoking and realized I was anxious all the freaking time, I didn't realize why until a year later. So it's just that point of, I'm a little rambling, obviously, a little all over the place. It's just that point of breaking the chains. I quit smoking to break the cycle, to break the chain, to break my own individual bondage, because I saw that I had enslaved myself to this habit. And I realized that I can't do anything in terms of freeing this world until I free myself, right? And ultimately it comes down to doing it for myself, because I'm a part of this world and I matter. And if I can't free myself, I can't free anyone else. If I can't help myself, I can't help anyone else. So it's just that point of breaking the chains, stopping the generational, patterns, stopping what's being passed on by each generation, making the decision to question, in my life, question this life, and to question the system that we live in, and to say, is there something else we can do? Can we do better for each other? Do we really have to live in survival? I know people know it. Like, people are realizing the whole 9-to-5 job, your life is dedicated to making someone else money. Everyone is knowing that this is bullshit, and that there is a different way we can live. We're the only species on this planet that pays to live here. We've separated ourselves so much from the fact that we are the earth, and we are the children of the earth, and we are a family, and we're siblings to each other and to the animals and to the plants, and we all exist together. We're all life. And yet we have convinced ourselves that it costs us to live here. We have to pay to live here. So we all know this is bullshit. And so I've made a decision in my life to question this and ask, is there something different that I can do? And I realized that there is, because what I see in the world, what I see out there in the greater, is a reflection of who I am on a very individual level. So I've become a consumer. I consume myself. I have become the greedy elite. I have become the person who's power hungry. I have become the one that wants to be, better than others. I'm the one who is starving. I'm the one who's starving myself. I'm the one who is homeless. I'm the one who is walking around aimless, thinking I have no purpose or direction. I'm the one, what this world is reflected on an individual level. And so I have responsibility to forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to separate myself from the reality that I am life, and I am worthy, and I'm deserving, and I have a right to live and to express and to create, and to not carry the burdens of the past, and to not carry on the sins of the father. And I don't have to, I can question things, and I can ask, why is it like this? Why is it like this? And what can I do differently? And how can I contribute? And how can I do things myself? How can I be the change I want to see in this world? When I was a kid, I went to speech class because I had a hard time with my R's and my W's. I would interchange them a lot. So rewriting is hard for me because that got that RW there. It's got an RWR there. Rewriting the future. That is what we're doing by changing ourselves, because we're changing the trajectory of our lives. If I never questioned myself, if I allowed myself to just live out my patterns automatically without question, if I did no self-investigation, no introspection, if I didn't do self-forgiveness, if I didn't deal and heal those past traumas of myself, if I didn't stop and question, who I've been and what I've been doing, if I didn't do all of that, then I would play out the patterns of my past that were passed on from my previous generations. I would just live out the same thing over and over, facing the same thing over and over, existing on autopilot, not aware of who I am and how that influences the whole. Because we're one part of the whole. And so as one point, we can affect change in the whole. And yeah, so been busy doing that. And I will say it's not an easy game. It's really hard. Right now I'm facing, as I mentioned in the previous vlog, this point of fighting, and how I have fought for my sense of self in terms of my ego, of wanting to be right, of wanting to be superior, of wanting to know it all, of wanting to like win. You know, we all take that stance where I'm right and the other person is wrong. And it's really hard to walk out of that when you're so in it. It's really hard to walk out of it. And I had that experience this morning, you know, and it was hard to walk out of it, but I did. I did my best to walk backwards out of that experience and humble myself, and you know, it worked to a degree of like actually settling the interaction I was having with another, and we were able to then come together and communicate more effectively and directly to a solution that works for both of us. So it's not easy. It's really hard when you're in that point of automation, when you're in that power of emotion that you're experiencing. It's hard to walk out instability, but it's possible. It definitely is possible, and it's necessary for us to do that, to break the chains of our own self-inflicted, you know, conflict. I mean, we create war on individual levels, and so we have to be the one to stop war on individual levels. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. But in that, you are also able to then understand why war exists, and why countries have the stance they have, and why a collective, you know, country has the position that they're in, or like why they take that position. You start to understand it's not easy on an individual level. Now imagine having the history of a country and, you know, having a spotlight on you in a way to be a certain type of persona or character on the world stage. And you know, it's not easy to change. It's not easy to change, but it is possible, and this is part of the process, and I'm grateful to be here every day, you know, realizing that every day I can make a difference. Every day I can instill some more awareness. Every day I can remind myself and remember that I am self-responsible, and I can forgive myself, and I can take responsibility for myself, and I'm not a victim, and I have a lot of power actually to change myself, and so change the world. So one day at a time.